I've been thinking about it. I come to the conclusion that all these people are getting it wrong. A lot of people become angry that Israelis have dual citizenship within the United States and Israel, and therefore believe that they hold allegiance to Israel way higher than any allegiance they have to the United States. So people say things like, well, how can you serve two masters, and all the other sayings or logical points they make, which are valid. So that would be one of the points they make, where I think they understand that that's kind of nonsensical. Another one is, hey, if Armageddon comes to America, they just get on a plane and they fly to Israel. Well, where do you fly? Ask yourself that. Where do you go if North America becomes a living hell, which it seems like it's on the track to become? Some would argue it already is, with abortion and the laws and things of that nature, and the culture, and the heightened racial tension that is just constantly ratcheted up with the fake hate crimes of Jesse Smollett and numerous other fake hate crimes. I mean, you can Google girl writes swastika on her own door, and she was complaining. She was a Jewish girl at college, complaining someone kept writing a swastika on her door. They said, all right, they didn't inform her that their strategy to catch the perpetrator would be to put up a camera. Unfortunately for her, she was the one writing the swastika, and cameras don't lie, and she was arrested. It was swept under the rug, and nobody really heard of it. Numerous false hate crimes go on every day, while numerous real hate crimes aren't prosecuted. And I'm not mad that they aren't, in a way. I think that, hey, you should, it might become aggravated, especially if there's bodily injury requiring a visit to the hospital or stitches or so on. Blunt force trauma to the head. Yeah, aggravated, but the hate crime laws, I think, should be took off the books, because we know they're one-sided. So why isn't anybody ever brought up the idea? And I know some have, and I know a lot of times I'll say, oh, I made up this word, or I made up this idea, and there's been billions and billions of people, millions of people before me and today with me on this earth, and one of them had to have had it. The chances that you completely come up with something unique are low, but possible. The idea I had is, why are they angry that these people are trying to do everything in their power to have security and survival? Because at the end of the day, when you can't pay rent, when you're struggling with money, that's no peace of mind. When I struggle to pay the rent, when I struggle to pay bills, I'm struggling to keep my life together. And you have to have children to procreate. I believe you have to. I mean, if it wasn't for our parents doing that, none of us would be here to listen or talk. So why is it we get so angry we see this fortress in the desert, Israel, complete with giant walls? They say, why can't America have walls? Well, I'll take it one step further. Why can't Christians, go to Colorado and create their own Israel? Or how about they get somewhere in Arkansas, off the Mississippi River? There's your ports. There's your waterway. You're not landlocked like you would be in Colorado. Arkansas, land of the Christian homeland, Christian European homeland, where in order to be, and then this is what you do. You take what Israel does and you write it into law for your country. This is a way to when they say, oh, you only want white European Christians, be like, no, just Europeans. They don't have to be white. I mean, they could be darker. If there's black Christians, God bless them. But we know black people, if you took a poll, black people, honestly, I believe, this is my opinion. You can be upset if you want. But I think 9 out of 10 would say they are more comfortable. If you showed them a picture of 5 black people wearing generic clothes, no name brand, nothing to throw you off, and then 5 white people wearing the same get up, same outfit, or 10 or 100 people, and you asked a white person, who would you feel more comfortable going to a concert with, or being in a company with, or being stuck with for 24 hours straight? 9 out of 10 people, and even that 1/10 might be lying, would pick their own race. So I do believe black people are happier amongst themselves. I really do. Majority. So why can't Christians create their own land where they're not constantly being tricked into being debt slaves, where they could have some autonomy, where they can govern themselves? This is the key. And then they could build a wall. Israel has a giant wall with guns, guys with guns and spotlights. They have mobile command watchtowers that they put in the middle of Palestinian neighborhoods, and they flash lights throughout the whole city. It is a police state. It's an ugly. I mean, they count the amount of calories that are allowed to flow into the Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip is an open-air prison that from time to time gets bombed, and you'll just see like 6-story buildings just crumble. And these Israelis, and I'm not here to talk bad about, I'm not even trying to talk bad about any people. What they would do is they'd give them a warning tap. They'd drop like a warhead or a bomb without the explosives in it on the roof. It's called a double tap. They would hit your roof, and that meant you had 5 minutes to evacuate. Some of these buildings were 8 stories tall. Some of these buildings had women and children that it would be hard for them to get down. And you were damned if you were in that building. You were dead. And I don't think our Christian, Arkansas, European Christian state or community would be doing that, would be expansionist. They would be so happy just to have their own land. Now, Jews, understand, you guys were hungry, thirsted for the day you could call Israel yours. Why is it that whites get no aid? This idea would be, they would be screaming from the rooftops to shut this idea down before it even got started. It's 7 a.m. I gotta walk my dog, so I'll keep it quick. I just want to say, everybody, God bless. I'm trying to keep going on YouTube, trying to keep in touch. A lot of good people out there. But hey, why can't we have a Christian Christland? We're Christians. We're European. We feel like everywhere we go, people follow and are forced upon us. I don't necessarily feel like that strongly about that, but I can see it. I've seen it in Chicago, where I grew up on 600 in California. There was like a population of 1 million people, Southside. Population of white people, me. That's it, and my mom. That's it. There was only people. And I'd look down on the ground when I was a kid, and I'd see band names like Metallica, and it'd be like a relic to a past time, a bygone era, when this was a white community. And as I got older, I started to educate myself on what that neighborhood was like, because I'd hear it from the people around me. The white people, they'd be like, damn, this neighborhood's changed. Very few people even wanted to come visit us. They'd be like, damn, this used to be the most vibrant, cool, hip, a hip place to be for the South Side. That's where it was. Western Avenue, California Avenue. So I never got to experience that. And white people, we have a hard time getting along. I everybody's divided, everybody's in factions. And most people, honestly, they just care about going on vacation and living out their life. Nobody has any pride in Christianity anymore. Well, they do. I can't say nobody. But it seems like there's way less. Children aren't being brought up Christian. And it's a very, 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 very topsy-turvy world in which to navigate. What I'm confronted with is not what people were confronted with 20 years ago. And you have to survive. You have to struggle and you have to get through it. And the life I've led without guidance, I'm lucky to be here. A lot of my friends who didn't have fathers are dead or in prison. And I thank God every day that He's got me this far and I've got a chance. And I got my pretty doggy and my best friend, Anya, and we're making a go at it. But things are tight. And they don't need to be this way. But our families aren't passing down knowledge. Our families aren't passing down wealth. When you rely on the school system, they purposely try to bore you so you just want to leave. Then you got the media, which is also purposely trying to drag you away from being an academic, a good student and trying to be cool. You've got all these things that happen to a young man that are negative, and I fell for the traps. Let's just say that. All rap music says is sell drugs, get a big car, and that's a good lifestyle. That's the cool lifestyle. I don't even know what rock necessarily is. It's definitely not for the Lord. A lot of people said that rock music, if it came in the church, it would be the downfall of the church. And a lot of us, when we were younger, we'd say, you're crazy. People would say, don't listen to that rock music, it's horrible. What do you mean it's just Led Zeppelin? But as you grew up, you learned that Jimmy Page was a Satanist, and so on and so forth. You got bands called Judas Priest. We all know Judas, who Judas was. Pantera, a rock band named after the story that Mary wasn't inseminated by the Lord through the Immaculate Conception, or I think that's what they call it. He was a Roman soldier, and Mary was a Jewish whore. She was a princess, but she wanted to have sex with the Roman Goyim, and Jesus was the offspring. So it's blasphemed to the utmost. And his name was Pantera. So you have a rock band naming themselves Pantera. I could go on and on. But the point of this video was to say, what's good for them? Why can't we incorporate that? And say, hey, what do you mean we can't have a Christian, boarded up? It would take millions of dollars. It would take millions of dollars that I don't have. That people like Joel Osteen rack in. That people like that woman that had, she was like Joyce, maybe. She has a lot of plastic surgery. But, I don't need $10 million, I don't need to be rich, blah, blah, blah. I just need to be able to take care of ourselves. But in order to start something like that, you would need to be rich. You would need to be wealthy. You'd have to have wealthy backers. People would have to come together, and we'd have to have a movement where we're all in agreement that we want a Christian land. Christland, whatever you want to call it. Then you could have the morals taught in those schools that you deem important. And you could have a world, unlike the United States, where Christians go out in the world and you drive past porno stores and you've got the internet with porno on demand. Children have these phones. You could type in the wrong thing. You could type in, I don't know, you could pocket dial porn, probably. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be that easily accessible. And it's not good for children's first experience to be crazy phone porn. I remember when we were kids, somebody would have like a porn magazine, and it was like softcore. And at least that's breaking the kid in. But I'm very tired. Sorry for the lack of energy. But the point is what's important, not the energy level that I'm speaking in. I just want to say God bless one more time. And everybody let me know what you think about this idea. I might not be on YouTube forever. And if I am on YouTube, it'll be a brand new channel and nobody will know about it. And, it was hard for me to even get up to 400 or 500 subs. And I would lose 3 a day. So I would lose 3 a day, every other day, for months. So let's take 3 months. Cut that in half. 3 months is 90 days. 45 days is every other day. Times 3, it's 90 plus 45. About 135 every month or two. But everybody, God bless. Let me know what you think.